What do you mean, even though it's so clearly obvious what she means? More rowing! The whole way across the river to the pier was hell of a trip. I had to stop every 10 or 20 meters to take a break. Alyssa was staring at the river and didn't pay any attention to me. Oh my gosh, Lena rode, like, she rode the entire way there by herself. She must have, like, arms of steel. Okay. Well, this seems to be the first situation we're in the camp that is completely beyond my comprehension. I doubt that, even though ultimately it is just a trivial everyday situation. I wasn't this confused even during the all-night expedition to the old camp. After all, if you have a closer look, there isn't anything strange here at all. Lena is a very shy and perhaps even an introverted person, yet she's human and can't completely avoid normal human developments. Considering that, her reaction fits the situation quite well. Even if I don't get the source of the quarrel, it's clear as day that the girls would not behave like that if they didn't have a good reason. Oh my gosh, this guy is an idiot. And as things were standing, I was that reason. That's the strangest part of the whole situation. Hey, I'm sorry it went that way. If only I hadn't overheard your conversation. Seems like I was feeling a pathological need to excuse myself. It's not your fault after all. No, wait. It's not your fault at all, she said absent-mindedly. It's just that you appeared in the right place at the right time, and I restarted a mechanism that had stood still for a long time. I don't quite get it. Of course you don't. And actually, you shouldn't right now. You'll get it later. She cast an intense glance at me. Damn it! Why does this always happen to me? Both at school and college... Yeah, college. Trouble seems to have chosen me as its primary target. Someone blocked the classroom's door with a mop. I got a written reprimand in my mark book. There was a fight, all things considered. I must have started it. Failed an exam? Well, of course that's my fault, and the teacher hates me, has nothing to do with it. Even my parents always seem to prefer blaming me rather than unfavorable circumstances, a third party's involvement, or the decrees of Providence. At some point, I even started to believe that I somehow do attract trouble. Remember Murphy's Law? In my case, it was like, if something nasty is gonna happen, it's gonna happen to me. For that reason, I always tried to stay out of any trouble where I could become the whipping boy. Well, judging by today, I'm not really good at it. Seems like you... I'm sorry. Okay. Seems like you've got an aura of some sort. You do attract attention. Surprised, I looked at Alyssa. She was smiling. Looks like she can read my mind. Trouble, mostly. Who knows? Who knows? She said dreamily and stared at the river. It's a wonderful night, isn't it? Just like any other one, if you ask me. I felt used up. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Just an ordinary night. Nothing special. The best moment to take our most admirable camp leader really happy. She has to know that her favorite pioneer is a nasty pervert who enjoys peeking at naked girls. Fuck you, woman. Something snapped inside of me again. You aren't serious, are you? Why? Of course I'm serious. She didn't look like she was joking at all. Well, suit yourself, but do you really think this is the best time to do that? Aren't you supposed to row? I realized our boat was still drifting in the river. Wait, don't dodge my question. Let's get back to the camp. I'll have a moment to think it over. Getting to spend an entire night in a boat wasn't something I would aspire to do, so I had to apply myself to the paddles. We barely made it to the pier. I was exhausted, both because of the rowing and because of Alyssa's intent to tell Olga Dmitrievna about this morning's incident. If I know our camp leader, her reaction will be quite predictable. So, you're going to go visit Olga Dmitrievna now, are you? Why not? She gave me her most roguish smile. It's night, after all. She must be sleeping already. Who knows, she might well be awake. Come on, you know full well it was a coincidence, a simple misunderstanding triggered by Oleana. No, I don't. She flung her arms up and headed to the camp. I gathered all my remaining strength, jumped up, and followed her. First I considered grabbing her arm, but then realized it might not be such a good idea after everything that had happened today. Hold on. I trudged unenergetically along next to her. Let's talk this over. Is there anything to discuss? We silently walked along each other for some time. At least she walked slowly so that I had no trouble keeping pace with her, and I was thankful for that. Hey, is there anything I can do to convince you to not tell Olga Dmitrievna? Not sure, but, well, there is one thing. We came to the square. So what is it? Well, stop chasing Lena, for instance. Oh, for God's sake. What makes her think that I'm chasing Lena? I started to lose my temper. Why are you making up such nonsense? You started that quarrel in the forest because of you. We had to go to that island, and here we go again. Enough is enough. I'm not chasing her. Alyssa stood still, bright moonshine lighting up her face, which showed evident signs of resentment and displeasure. Like I don't see how you look at her. How do I look at her? Like that. Like what? You know. She shifted her gaze but remained standing still. Hey, stop seeing everyone through your own twisted imagination. If you can't stop making up nonsense stories, then at least keep them to yourself. Don't make others suffer because of you and your stories. I don't care if you pick on me, but now you got Lena involved. I really lost my temper for good, but Alyssa didn't answer. We sank into an unexpected silence that was only broken by Alyssa's sparse sobs. From bad to worse, now you are crying. Have you all gone mad here? I clasped my hands in despair. I could understand why Lena was crying. But seeing Alyssa cry is unthinkable, to say the least. I can't even see her reasoning. At any other time, I would definitely be shocked, but at this moment, I'm just too tired for that. My mind was absolutely blank. To be precise, it was so heavy and full so that not even a single idea would have the chance to dwell there. If I would compare my brain at its prime to a broad highway full of speeding thoughts overtaking each other and causing gigantic, chaotic crashes, then now it's nothing but a forgotten tiny path in distant, desolate forest which is only used in times of absolute necessity. Alyssa kept silent. At least she stopped crying. If you really think it's so serious, go ahead and tell everything to Olga Dmitrievna. I hope it makes you feel better. Okay, I won't do it, she said quietly and turned to me. The tears were gone, but her face seemed to express absolute sorrow at the world. I'm just feeling hurt. What hurt you? I asked her tiredly. It's always like that. She gets all the attention and always pushes me aside. I had difficulty understanding... not now, really. Phone going off. I had difficulty understanding what she was talking about and decided to play along. Hopefully she'd finally leave me alone. It's not true. You do draw attention and people don't overlook you. I don't. I raised my eyes and looked at her. Her facial expression was a mixture of amazement and expectation. See? Could you... All of a sudden her voice became so tender that I flinched in astonishment. Alyssa's face turned red and she hid her eyes. So... you really think that I'm as good as her? I wanted to say something like even better, but stopped myself. Yes, I do. Seems like she didn't understand that I said it all absolutely insincerely. Alright, time to sleep, Alyssa suddenly yelled cheerfully. Now she was acting more like herself again. See you tomorrow. She waved her hand and ran away. I sighed in relief. Well, it was over for today. All my remaining energy was wasted on a sprint to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin. There was no light, so trying not to wake the camp leader, I undressed quietly and lay down. Still interesting. What did Alyssa mean? And Lena? It's It's become unclear what is going on with them and with me, as if we got sucked into some sort of vortex which started to swirl with furious power. But what's going to happen next? And where will I be thrown then? Wait, what? Oh, day 6. Alyssa is suddenly here in the same... Okay. Alyssa's day 6. I guess we can do this. Hold on, I gotta check. Okay, there we go. Better. I woke up early when Olga Dimitrievna was still asleep. I stretched and sat up in the bed. I felt surprisingly okay, although I should have slept through the day after what happened the night before. Quietly, so as not to wake the camp leader, I took the bag with my washing up stuff and went outside. I forgot to look at the clock, but it seemed like 6 or 7 in the morning. The camp was asleep. The grass was shaking off the night dew, a light fog hung above the ground, and the sun was just beginning to break through the treetops, not warm at all yet, like the fluorescent lamp in the house across from mine. I took a deep breath of the nasty cold air and thought the tasty cold air, and thought that even a night owl... I'm just fucking up this entire sentence. Okay. I took a deep breath of the tasty cold air and thought that even a night owl like me can enjoy waking up this early sometimes. The streets of the camp were empty, of course. The water here has always been cold, but today it seems like they got it from the Antarctic depths. Even my hands went numb from it. Finishing with my hygiene, I decided to walk around the camp a bit. Olga Dimitrievna is asleep. Breakfast's not for a while yet, so there's nothing to do. I came to the square and looked at Jenda. That guy doesn't care if it's day or night. He's alert. I smiled at my successful joke and headed to the boat shed. As I walked, I hummed some song, obviously sure I was the only one awake here. To my great surprise, I saw someone sitting at the pier, hanging her feet in the water. Alyssa. I came closer and stopped, not sure what to say. Then she suddenly turned around and stared at me. Been standing here all along? No. Why aren't you asleep? Why aren't you? She turned back and stared at the river again. Looks like I'm not the only one in a good mood today. At least she wasn't being sassy again. Can't sleep. I see. About yesterday? You get everything, right? What exactly? Oh, for God's sake. My answer didn't seem to go down well. Alright, I did. I lied. Alright, good. She suddenly looked straight in the eye and smiled. In that case, I have plans for you tonight. Oh my gosh, dude, do you know what you're getting into? May I ask what they are? You don't need to know. Well, since I'm a part of them, you'll know when it's time. Can you give me a hint at least? Nope. She got up and walked towards me. A bit scared, I cleared the way. Don't do anything stupid, Alyssa said, moving away from the boat shed. I wonder what she meant. And what are those plans? Do they involve boobs? I had no wish to become a part of some terrorist act against a monument or anything. Besides, I was still haunted by yesterday's talk with Lena on the island. She's probably still angry. And I never managed to explain everything to her. Although I don't even know what I would say if I had the chance. I felt guilty about everything that had happened, but I couldn't figure out what exactly I was guilty of. The camp was starting to wake up. Breakfast was at least an hour away, but I had no desire to go back to the camp leader's cabin, so I decided to wait by the canteen. At least I'd be the first one here for once. I sat on the steps and watched the sun rising. Sometimes it's great to just watch a new day come. I was overwhelmed with complete peace and tranquility. There were no thoughts to tear up my brain as they usually do. I simply bathed in warm rays of the heaven's star. In other place and circumstances, I could probably even say I was happy. Good morning, you're early today. I looked up and saw Lena standing in front of me. She was smiling. You too. All of last night's events flashed before my eyes. Listen, if this is about yesterday, please don't. She interrupted me sharply. I don't know what came over me. It was all... Just forget it. She stared at me. Lena seemed much more confident than usual. If only it was that simple. There's nothing complicated about this. She sat down next to me. So close I felt a bit awkward, but made no attempt to move away from her. Sometimes I have disputes with Alyssa. Yeah, I realized. I see. But in this case, it happened because of me. Who knows? She answered, lost in thought. So that's why... You know, I'm embarrassed. Perhaps I really am to blame. Or rather, I'm not trying to say that I'm not to blame, but just trying to explain myself like a 5th grader to a school teacher. Okay, don't. As I said, nothing serious happened. If you think so. You should just think about how to act from now on. Not again. I covered my face with my hands, clearly showing that I have absolutely no idea what's going on here, and that everything, to put it mildly, is very unpleasant for me. Could you express yourself any clearer? What for? She said evasively. Look, if I don't know what I did wrong, I can't do better. I can't decide on how to act, as you say. I think you'll understand. I would like to believe that as well, but... The canteen door suddenly flew open, and Olga Dmitrievna came out. Sitting around hungry this early? She said playfully. Good morning, Nina said merrily. She got up and headed inside. Shall we? Yeah, sure. So what do you think about Alyssa?